what's up? Brian here with J-Line, helping others achieve greatness in every part of life. And today we're driving conversations. Let's get into it. So this is where I let the Tesla drive. Actually, I'm still driving. Let me let the Tesla drive. So this is when I let the Tesla drive and then I have a conversation. Yes, we're driving conversations. And we've been talking recently about trying to figure out a travel lifestyle and a lifestyle of traveling, and we talked about working from anywhere or saving up money and traveling and all of that. So with this video, in our last video, we talked about the income problem. Figure out the income, meaning whether you saved it all or whether you're going to be working from anywhere and still having income come in, or you have some investments that pay or businesses, however it might be. So with all of that being said, today we're going to talk about the mode of transportation, or how do you want to travel, not just the mode of transportation, but how you want to travel. And I do have a little hint. There are many different ways. So let me give you an example, and then I'll share my hint of what I'm going to be talking about a little bit. But, are you going to be staying in hotels? And let me say this word. I don't recommend this, but I know there are some people that do it. Hostels. Are you going to be staying in hostels? Are you going to be staying with friends, with family that live around the nation or around the world, and you're going to be visiting as you go? Or, here's the hint. Oh, cruiser. Are you going to be cruising? And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Are you going to be camping? What about camping? Are you planning on taking a travel trailer when you travel, or your own vehicle? Are you going on a road trip? Are you flying to place? And when you do get somewhere, how are you going to get around there? Are you going to use public transportation? Are you going to use like Uber or Lyft, or are you going to just like rent a bike or buy a bike when you get there? Like, there's all kinds of things, or a scooter, a motorcycle, something, I don't know. I'm just saying, there's all kinds of planning and there's all kinds of different things. And will you do one or a mix? I think doing a mix would be pretty awesome. So the way I think about it is, and the reason why I bring up cruising is because cruising has one cost. It could have one cost, I should say. It can have one cost where you pay the tax and port fees, you pay the cruise fare, and then when you get on the cruise, the food's included, the entertainment's included, you're traveling from place to place, your cabin is included. There are, of course, there's add-on costs like an excursion or a specialty dining, or once you get to a place, are you going to buy souvenirs or send souvenirs to family and friends, or even mailing postcards or different things. So this is, I think, cruising is a good value add, because if you are in a region, for example, we did a cruise where we went from New York to Rome. We stopped in Portugal, we stopped in Spain, Barcelona, all kinds of places along the way to Rome. Then once we got to Rome, that same ship was doing a Greek Isles cruise, like the Mediterranean, and it's going to Greece, it was going to Turkey. And so just with both of those cruises, we were able to see a lot of Europe. And then, of course, when that one that went from New York to Rome, then it went from Rome to like Santorini, Greece, and a couple different places, Turkey, and then came back to Rome, and we stayed in Rome for a couple days and was able to use the train and go around there. So all of that, when you think of how do you want to have your mode of transportation, or how you're going to travel, and we did stay in a hotel next to the airport that was next to the train station in Rome. So all of that was something that, like the hotel, the train, the cruise, the flight, because then we flew back. So there is expenses with all of that. And of course, there will be a lot of places that you'll be flying to get to. But like for instance, New York to Rome on a cruise, it was a 14-night cruise, and because of our other channel, Holy Roller, we get like free cruise offers where you only have to pay tax and port fees, and it was 14 nights for both of us, and it was less than $300 for both of us, like $150, maybe it was a little bit over $300. So let's say $350 for 2 weeks, right? For 2 weeks, 14 days, $350, and included all the food and our lodging and our travel to get over there. And so that's something to think about when you think about how you're going to travel, and if you're going to travel for less. I think cruising, even at full price, cruising does have a good value add to it. So that is something to think about if you're going to be in a certain area and you want to cruise an area or cruise to see certain parts of the country. We did the same thing with Japan when we went from LA to Japan, and that cruise stopped in many parts of Japan until it ended in Tokyo. And then from there we stayed a few nights, we saw Tokyo, we went around to the different places that were there, taking the train, and then we flew back home. So flights one way instead of flights both way. Cruise one way, fly back, or whatever. I mean, this is something that you want to think of. The other thing I think that would be a great value add, depending on the time of year, is camping. And there are campgrounds and camp like memberships where you can pay for a membership for the whole year, and then you can travel to different campsites, and your membership covers your site. And there might be like a little site fee or whatever, but your membership gets you access and allows you to camp there for free. Now, you can't just stay there. You can't just live there for 6 months. I think most of them that I've researched and heard about, you can just stay for like 2 weeks at a time, and then you have to move campgrounds. Some of them you can move campsites. So you could be like, I'm gonna be in this site at the same campground, but then I just moved to this site, so that's something to think about. My Tesla's going for a pass. It's passing a vehicle, and so I just want to pay attention really quick. It made it. It passed the vehicle, but there was a hill up here, so I wanted to see, would it pass it like I pass it? Like when I pass, I floor it, and I boom, pass as fast as I can. But it did a good job. So anyway, we've been talking about in the different videos the things that the Tesla does as the Tesla is learning to drive while I'm supervising. I don't know if you remember, but there was in another video, there was a place back there where it like slammed on its brakes because it goes up and then it curves, so you can't really see the street, and so it thinks it's going off the cliff, but it like braked. It hasn't done that too much anymore because it learned this track that we're on, this road. And so with all that being said, it's so confident that it's passing other cars now. So when you think of camping, cruising, hotels, or Airbnbs, let me give you a tip about Airbnb that a lot of travelers do. When they stay in an Airbnb has a significant, and this is of course up to the owner or the manager of the Airbnb, they have a significant discount if you stay 28 days or more. So a lot of times you could get the same price for staying like 2 or 3 weeks. You can stay 4 weeks for the same exact price when it comes to your lodging. So always, if you're thinking about Airbnb, you can figure, let's try to see what the price would be for 28 days or more. So the discounts come in. And like I said, when we had an Airbnb, I used to do a 50% discount. On my other video, I was telling you, 50% discount if you stayed for 30 days or 28 days or more. And so 2 weeks or 30 days, same price. And as a manager or owner of an Airbnb, It was better because I didn't have to worry about the other person checking out, checking in, and the cleaning fee and all of that. So, and for staying that long, it could be a pretty penny. So you never know. You never know. But let's talk about one other thing a lot of people are into when it comes to traveling or vacations, and this could be kind of expensive, but I'll give you a little hint on if I was going to do it, what my strategy would be, because I have done this. And this is what's called vacation ownership places, or some people refer to them, and there are some that are called timeshares. So there's a big difference, vacation ownership versus timeshare. A lot of times a timeshare is one place, 1 week, and you're buying that week, for example, and there's 52 other people that buy a week, and everybody gets to get a week, and it's like we're all pitching in to buy this place. And of course now there's timeshare companies that do this, and the way vacation ownership works is it's usually apartment buildings or hotels or resorts, and you buy into that with hundreds and probably even thousands of other people, and you get you get a chance to stay at those places. But you have to pay. Not only do you have to purchase in, but you usually have to pay like an HOA fee that is keeping up the grounds. So a lot of times these HOA fees or these membership fees for timeshares or whatever get it where people, they just can't afford it anymore. And there's all these things like, get out of your timeshare. And a lot of times when they do get, whether it's a vacation ownership or a timeshare, a lot of times they're like, well, I can't use the week that I bought, but yet my whatever contract says I can't sublease, or I can't rent out the week that I bought, or whatever it might be. And then you lose it and you can't use it, but all you're doing is paying for it. And so that's something to think about. I don't recommend any kind of timeshare where it's like one place and it's an ongoing monthly thing. We do have a business that we did a while back called the J-Line Adventure Club, where we actually did a vacation ownership with Airbnb, and that was good while it lasted. But a lot of times when people do this, if owners buy, and their purpose is to, not that their purpose is to do an Airbnb, but to sublet what they can't use, and then the company says, no, you can't do that, because then the other owners can't stay because somebody that has a lot of time that they're not using is renting it out to non-owners. And so that's something to think about. Things always change, right? And so but there is, and if I was going to do it again, I would use it, of course, for myself, but it's that monthly dues or the monthly fees or the HOA that makes it so difficult to continue to maintain. Because one thing that you don't want to do is pay for something when you're not there. Or, for example, if you were to get an Airbnb for a week, but then go pay for a hotel for 2 nights out of that week, you double paid for that time. And so if you're gonna do it, you have to make sure to take time to plan on, make sure you don't double pay or overpay. And so with just the things that I've spoken about today, I think one of them would be cruising. Consider cruising for traveling, because, and I'm not trying to sell cruising or sign up for my package or whatever, but especially with the Holy Roller YouTube channel that we have, we show people how to get play in the casino and get cruise offers, which, yes, you could lose money, but sometimes you don't lose, and the point is, don't lose more than what the cruise costs. And when you do that, you know, you're not, if you do, you prepay, but if you don't, then you get a great deal, only have to pay taxes and port fees. And that's how we went to Europe for $350 for 2 weeks, you know, getting there. So that's something to think about. And I think that'll be it today. So until next time, remember, don't just watch J-Line, but be a J-Line. See ya.